All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. Yep. Once again, another episode, Heart of the Volunteer Veterans Podcast. We've got episode 019 for you today. That's 19, baby. You didn't think we'd make it this far? I don't think we did either. But here we are. And this episode is entitled Rock and Roll Don't Die. So, hey, grab your air guitar and get ready to rock and roll. All right, hey, I wanted to talk briefly about some of the things that have been going on just before we kick things off. All right, lots of energy today, lots of energy. And this energy is contributed to coming back from California completely emotionally raw and just felt completely drained. Linked up with a few folks that, I got a chance to bounce some of my experiences off of and come up with some amazing coping mechanisms to come out of these stories hosting in a positive manner, which is what it's all about, because I can take in turn and pass this on to veterans whenever we sit and talk and we have some issues. So once again, thank you for helping me out and helping out the show so we can keep things moving on. The other thing is I want to thank everybody once again for the amazing support that you're giving to these veterans that are coming on here and pouring their hearts out. This is not easy, folks. It's not easy. If you think that it is, you're mistaken. Bringing up old stuff, it's tough. All right, so thank you for the positive support that you're giving these veterans, and keep it up. All right, keep it up. The other thing I'd like to point out is we've got two dynamic veterans that are leaning forward in the old ruck straps. Christopher Tucker is getting ready to start launch his podcast, which is called Breech Bolt Jungle. All right, and it's a military equipment history podcast, and we're going to be doing an intro to that. He's got an intro he's produced. He's going to send it to us, and we're going to continue to push these veteran-hosted podcasts that are popping up. The other one is Marissa. Marissa's got a show that's in development right now, and it's full of a lot of energy, literally energy. Her podcast is called Upbeat MKE, and that's beat, not in Dre's beats, but is in a beat that you eat. All right. And their website, her and her mother's, is plateaplant.com. Plate a plant. Put a plant on a plate. That's what it means. All right. I reached out to Marissa and just to see how things were going. And sure enough, she tells me about this, and I'm like, yeah, it's cool. We start talking about the podcast, and she tells me she's going to be doing a podcast. And so we start talking about that, and lo and behold, I literally pulled myself into her arena when I came back from California. My whole house, kitchen, cupboards, bare. I got rid of it before I left, came back in, and, really kind of struggled out there food-wise, and decided to make a change. Got Marissa. She gave me some excellent tips, and we're going to keep moving in the positive direction with my diet and health. I suggest other folks to do that too. As we get older, we need every advantage that we can get. All right, so once again, we got great stuff going on out there with veterans. And the other thing is if you have a topic that you would like to come on and discuss, reach out to us. All right. We've got We've got a gaming episode coming up. We've got a war music, fighting music episode coming up. We've got some other ideas we'll be posting on Facebook. So if you have one, beat us to the punch, reach out to us, and we'll put it together. All right. We've got an episode that's going to be happening maybe sometime next week. Rodeo bullfighter, a veteran rodeo bullfighter. So it's going to be an amazing next couple of weeks of episodes. So reach out to us and let's get after it. All right. So folks, hey, our next guest may seem low key at first, but Alan Gutierrez, or Gutz as we call him, is far from it. He has lived a very, very intense life, especially during his military service. And I got to tell you, listen to his episode. All right. Listen to it and yeah, take it in. Great episode. So with that, I introduce Alan Gutierrez to Heart of a Volunteer. It was excellent having him on. So enjoy the show. Alan Gutierrez. Alan, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So how are things going, man? What have you been up to?
Well, living out in sunny California, there's a lot of opportunity.
It's definitely sunny out here, man.
Definitely sunny and hot this time of year.
Well, we're up here in Moreno Valley, and it is warm. Much, much warmer than it was in Laguna. Or even down there in L.A. when we were down there. It was not this hot. So, it's not that bad, though.
No.
You get used to it.
I think a lot of people come out here for the weather.
Yeah. Well, both you guys are wearing black shirts. I don't know how you're pulling it off. Salty Crew and tank top, black shirt over here.
But I think the tank top comes from, I got used to it in Hawaii.
Right. Well, hey, Gutz, it's been a while since you and I, the last couple of days we've been hanging out and stuff, but it's been a number of years since we were, together, same platoon, good old Spartan platoon. Let's, for the listeners, man, let's take them back in time. Young, long-haired Alan, rocking and rolling, and walk them through your story, man.
Yeah, thanks. So I was born in California, Los Angeles area, very urban area, a very diverse population. I played rock and roll. I played music. I grew up playing music, grew up listening to rock and country. And my dad was a soldier in the 80s, listened to that good old classic rock. So I grew up on that.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to play music and just live life and kind of float around. And, as I grew up, got out of high school, got into some trouble, realized that I think I need to grow up a little more, do something.
What were you doing when you got out of high school? What was your plan going forward?
I wanted to live the dream. I wanted to be a rock star.
There you go.
That was it. I wanted to be a rock star. I wanted to play rock and roll, and I did that. It was great. It was fun. Spent a lot of time living in Hollywood, playing music, playing shows. Grew the hair out, tattoos, all that stuff. Women. Living a little bit of the rock star lifestyle. It wasn't safe.
Right.
But yeah, so after living that lifestyle for a while, to track back a little bit, 9/11 happened just as I was getting out of high school, and it did have an impact on my life. I grew up around veterans, my dad being a veteran, my uncle being a veteran, Vietnam veteran. I have some law enforcement in my family. I think it really set the mood to where I was going to end up.
Right.
My dad instilling a lot of discipline in me, although, being young, you want to carve your own path. And it was a lot harder than I thought to carve your own path, especially being a musician. I had a friend that got called up from the Reserve Marines to deploy. We were working together, and we got word that he wasn't coming back. And then it kind of hit me. I felt that I could do something more with myself.
Right.
And that was joining the military.
I didn't know that about you, man.
Yeah.
That makes you even all the more cooler to me.
Thanks.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So, I didn't tell anybody. Only my dad. I said, "This is what I want to do." He said, "I'll go down to recruiter with you." I went down the recruiter, this shaggy dude, long hair, some tattoos. The recruiter looks at me. He's like, "What? What are you doing?" I want in. Okay, what do you want to do? I want to do what my friend did, which was in the infantry. He was in the infantry. Mm-hmm. My dad was a forward observer. If you guys don't know what that is, you call in our
everything.
Yeah, you call in fire.
Mm-hmm.
Poop and snoop and poop.
Everything, man.
Yeah.
Lifesavers in Korengal, Nuristan. If you ain't got an FO, you're dying.
Yeah.
It's good money.
So, I joined the military, or I wanted to join the infantry. It was hard for me to get in the infantry. I had a little problem. I was diagnosed with, or being colorblind. The military doctors, now we all know how the military doctors can be sometimes. They might do things half-assed sometimes. And that wasn't the case. I see colors just fine. So once I got into the Army, I passed the test and stuff. Got into the infantry. Basic training.
How were you prepared for it, physically and mentally?
You know what? Okay, so growing up with my dad being military in the 80s, he told me they're gonna kick you down if you stand up. So just stay down. Just do what they say, So I was I think kind of prepared for it. He told me start running, start doing stuff. So I did. But when you get there, it's a different story. Right. You don't know. You're not used to it. I was used to being a rock star, and I was on stage. I was in charge. So right. When I was on stage, everybody looked to me, and of course they want the guitar player, But it wasn't like that. I wasn't in charge anymore. Yeah. And once I got the feel for it, it was fine. I think I was a few years older than some of the guys, so I kind of had a better understanding of life and how things work. Just listen to them. It'll be all right. Yeah. I ended up cruising through basic training. Then it was off to my first unit. I went to Schofield Barracks, Hawaii.
25th Infantry Division.
Yep, 3rd Brigade, 235. And when I got there, I thought I was the shit. It was. It didn't last long.
Right.
We go through a placement, and then you have a little liaison come pick you up, drop you off. Oh man, one of the first days out there. Well, it was a few days. I meet my platoon sergeant, and he scared the shit out of me. I never stood that strong at attention, and he scared the shit out of me. I didn't look at him. I didn't want him to look at me. Yeah. One of the things I remember is him asking what my run time was. I said 13:45. He says, "You're with me. You're in my platoon." And that was it. I joined the Spartan platoon, their platoon.
The best platoon.
It was a great platoon. One of the things that made it great was, we had really good leadership. But our core of young guys, we really had a good core. We were all friends. We hung out together. We were on the same page. We were about the same age. Mm-hmm. And we just needed to be pointed in the right direction.
Gutz, if I remember your platoon right, there was very, very few outsiders within that platoon.
Yeah, correct.
And from my experience, that's kind of rare. You never have, you always have like your outsiders, but within that platoon, it didn't seem like there was like one or two, but they didn't stick around very long. No, I don't know if that was just the way the platoon was filtering people out, or that's just the way the platoon, the men within the platoon built the platoon.
I think the soldiers really set the standard. Mm-hmm. What kind of men we were going to have in that platoon. Yep. We were all going to be like-minded individuals. Everybody brought something to the table. Everybody, when it was time to pick up and move, we all picked up and moved. Yep. And when you didn't, that man was gone. He wasn't in it anymore. Right. And he didn't feel part of it. So we all definitely pulled our weight. But it was a great platoon. The young corps was great. Our leadership was great. After
who was your team leader, squad leaders there? Do you remember?
Initially,
can you name drop them?
You know what? Initially, Sergeant Pettit was one of them. He was
John Pettit.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
Yeah, he was.
I didn't spend a lot of time with him, but he set me straight a few times. He said some things to me, and I knew I wasn't the shit when I was around him. I
think everybody knew they weren't the shit when they were around Pettit. Yeah, he was big dude.
He was probably about 10 feet tall, blonde hair.
Yeah.
Long stride. You can't run with him.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I don't remember who my squad leader was at the time, but I do remember meeting the PL and Eric Softgy. He was a good guy, really smart. He was in our PL for very long, and then we got introduced to our new PL, Lieutenant Walkup.
Frank the Tank. He
was bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. He came in and he had a vibe. He had a vibe, and he had an idea of how he wanted to lead from the front.
Yep.
With a light heart, treated his soldiers great. Always looked out for us. And he really helped us grow up. He was still growing up himself.
Yeah.
He took a lot of advice from his mentors. You.
Sometimes.
So yeah, sometimes of course. But yeah, the unit was great. Hawaii was great. I think I chose to go to Hawaii mainly because it's Hawaii. Yeah. I knew it was a rapid deployment unit. I knew what I was getting into. And I knew shortly thereafter we were gone. So our training, once we got to the island, we did a lot of training. Our leaders were moved around quite a bit. I felt like it wasn't stable. We didn't have stable leadership, except for our platoon sergeant, platoon leader. Once we got stable, we started to rock and roll a lot. Right. And then training picked up because we were going to be deployed soon. I didn't know that, but I knew it was coming. Mm-hmm.
I think we were still waiting on the actual deployment date because we had just come back, and we were supposed to get 12 months off. I think we only ended up getting 9.
Yeah, I know you guys said it was cut short from Afghanistan.
Because if you guys remember when you guys took block leave, some of you could take a year or 30 days of leave. But everyone that had deployed before you, the deployment before, they got like an extra 15 days of leave attached to that.
Yeah, that's what.
Because they were cut 3 months short on their recovery time.
Yeah, during that block leave, people were gone for a long time.
Yeah, I think I ended up getting like 10 days. There were some dudes that were like they went Advon and came back last and ended up with like almost 20 extra days on top of their leave. Wow. Which is, that's too easy, man. You go with it. You know what I mean? You take that.
Yeah, take it. They're going to give it to you. Take it.
I look at it this way: if I stayed 60 days away from the unit after deployment, it's not changing anything. As long as I'm doing the right thing. Yeah. It's earned. I look at it that way when I think of soldiers. It's earned. Yeah. Yeah.
I think a lot of our training was really helpful in mentally preparing us. I never knew what a deployment was like. It was my first deployment. So I had people like Sergeant Smitty, being my platoon sergeant. He was saying that, you're not going to feel it. You're not going to feel it because you don't know what it's like. Me, I've already been on deployment. I'm feeling it already. I'm feeling it. I know when we're going. I know, some possibilities. And, I feel it. But you guys will be all right. Yeah. And, time comes and we deploy.
I'll tell you what, you talk about Sergeant Smith. It was good to have Smith Kreskin in the platoon because he'd come from a mounted unit where they had ridden around in Humvees during deployment, and I had never done that. Never been in a vehicle for a deployment. It was always like walking or flying. And then now we're going to be in a vehicle the whole time. And Sanchez was my guy. He was my mounted dude. He helped me. But Smith helped Lieutenant Walkup definitely get his his patrol system lined out, and it worked out well. Frank definitely liked having Smitty on his in his patrol. So
yeah, he was good. He was a good leader. He had a lot of knowledge.
Definitely.
He's one of the guys that instilled in me meeting people, talking to people, making contacts, finding out what they're about. You never know. Maybe maybe you need help with something. Right. Maybe you can help them. Mm-hmm. And I still do it to this day, make contacts. Social media is great for that. So, there we are. We're our deployment date is set, and I don't know what's to come. But a lot of us are, we're new to everything. We're young kids, gung-ho.
Launching out on the great adventure.
Yeah. Yeah. And, some of the leaders told me about some things that, maybe crossed my mind, but it wasn't reality. Everything was movies, you know. And before I knew it, I was in Iraq, in Kirkuk.
Nope.
Well,
Yeah, we did. We show up at Kirkuk first.
yeah, we were in Kirkuk.
Yeah, we did. That's right. Then we left. We left like shortly after that.
It was less than a month. Less than a month. We were only there for maybe a week or two.
Yeah, we were only there for a week. We didn't even get a place to stay. We were still in like the transient barracks.
Yeah, that's where we were.
And then we were gone. Yeah. Just enough time for it to pick up basic load ×2 for each man.
Yep.
Sign for our Humvees for the platoon. And all of our equipment.
Left seat, right seat.
And we didn't get any.
I thought people were
all we
out.
signed for was I think we signed for a couple of vehicles and some equipment, and then we left. But when we came back, remember that big layout of all the vehicles
Oh yeah.
I mean, there was no vehicles parked in the motor pool because all of our vehicles were spread out with all the equipment that went with it. That was when we came back, and it was absolutely nuts. But yeah.
Yeah, you know, I don't even remember exactly where Bernstein was located on the map.
South of Kirkuk.
That was it was interesting. I didn't picture my first deployment being that detached from the main brigade, the main unit. We were kind of on our own. We were led by you out there doing PT with a gun truck next to us. In the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some Hescos around and stuff.
Right.
Wasn't too bad.
I like Bernstein because of the training that we could do there. It was kind of like no one was in our way.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd take, half the platoon, go out there, it was huge.
Yeah.
And just set up our own range. I mean, we had like some live fire ranges that were probably pretty close to being unsafe, but that was the goal, was to get everybody, hey, this is what's going to happen. Bullets hit rocks, and sometimes they spin right in front of your face, and it's time to go. And it was good, man. We never, I kind of wish that we would have got, a little more of that, but
that was the first time I got to pop off a few 203s out of my weapon.
Yep.
And
that feels good, doesn't it?
It feels good. You don't know what it's like. Yeah. And so you have to be ready. But yeah, and then after Bernstein, moving back up north to Kirkuk was different, because then we had our the brigade, and we had to mind our manners, so to speak. Make sure that we're not doing anything that we're not supposed to be doing.
Right.
Or your hat, your patrol cap.
It was easy to do, I think, that, you had enough control pieces in there to make it happen.
Yeah. No, it was good. We did, what helped us is we always had some good leaders looking out for us. We were rarely in trouble because our leaders were always, being a young soldier, you kind of veer. You're supposed to walk a line, you veer a little bit, and then you have someone
kind of correct you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we got that a lot from you. Although coming from you was it was different. I didn't understand at the time. Why is he being a dick? Like, it's just a hat. It's fine. It's on my head. Yeah. But listen, the little things, they add up. They add up in your life. When you're out in combat, you miss something. You miss a 5 and 25. Yep. Now what? Mm-hmm. Someone's going to hit something.
Yep.
It's the little things. But yeah, so moving back to Kirkuk.
Do you remember what your, just for the listeners out there that get an idea, what was your patrol schedule like? Like your 7 days. Do you remember what your schedule looked like? How long your patrols were when you typically went out?
I don't even remember that far. I don't remember what our patrol schedule was like. Bernstein was...
Bernstein, we didn't... we only had a few patrols, but up at Kirkuk, we were on a 6 days on, 1 day off.
Yeah, I remember when we built Doria. I remember those patrols. I don't remember all the patrols right when we got to Kirkuk. I think they weren't as significant yet until there were some events that
Right.
really started ingraining everything in my mind.
Well, we did take, we took we took about probably a 2 week slow kind of, we never got a right seat ride for the area. You know what I mean? No one ever showed it to us.
Yeah.
So we did have, a couple of elements that, mixed in with us and guided us around. We talked, on the radio and stuff. And then after that, we were north of the aqueduct, Clemson and all those good places.
Yeah. Going into the deployment, not knowing what to expect is a life changer. Mm-hmm. Because now you're not wearing those laser tag things. No, it's not. It's
miles gear.
Miles gear. Yeah, miles gear. You're not wearing those anymore.
Yeah.
There's real ammunition in my magazine.
Right.
And I'm locked and loaded now. And once you step out, once I hear over the radio, hey, we're live. We're going hot. We're going hot. And it was a different world once you pop your IED cherry. Then you realize they're near us.
Yeah.
They're watching us.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. For some reason I felt like our platoon hit so many IEDs. Our platoon was just an IED magnet.
My section only hit 2.
That's, yeah.
We only hit 2. I
hit a lot.
If you were in Frank's section, you hit a lot. Yeah.
We did find a lot also, but I didn't ride lead truck very much. Frank liked to be out in the front.
Yep.
And I wasn't. Occasionally, I gunned for him, but I was Smitty's gunner most of the time. Or actually, no. Before that, I was Alderman's gunner.
Right.
It was me. It was there. Actually, I think the protocol changed because we only had 3 people in our vehicle.
Right.
And
that's all the people we had.
Yeah.
For that patrol.
So it was difficult because the driver's supposed to stay with the vehicle, the gunner's supposed to stay with the vehicle, and then now we have our team leader Alderman. He's the only one on the ground.
Right.
So it was different. But so getting back to the IEDs, once you hit them, you're a different person. And then there was the incident where Petey and Alderman were injured.
Yep.
And I was in that vehicle.
You were gunning that day.
Yeah, we're going down I don't remember the actual road. It was off of Clemson, going towards Saddam Village.
Back behind Saddam Village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were doing counterinsurgency patrols or something. Watching, make sure they weren't planting IEDs.
Right. Area denial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was scary. It was nighttime. We couldn't see them. We couldn't see anything.
I don't think it's ever been that dark. It was black back there where we were at. There was no illume.
Yeah.
We had the aircraft in the air. I still couldn't see the aircraft, but I could hear it. That's how dark it was.
It was dark. So, and then me gunning at the time. What's interesting is that occasionally I would switch out with Petey and I would gun. I would drive and he would gun. It was occasionally. And that day I said, "Hey man, you want me to drive for you?" And he said, "Nah, Gutz, you gun, I'll drive." It's all right, man. I was used to gunning. I like being in the gun seat. I like looking out.
Yeah.
And then we hit an IED and I wasn't driving.
Right.
It was life changing.
Yeah.
So we hit the IED and I blacked out, and it seemed like I was out for 20 minutes, but I think it was a minute or two, and then I regained consciousness and realized that someone was screaming for help.
Yep.
And that was Petey. He needed help.
He was pinned under the dashboard.
He was he kept saying my leg. And I was in, as soon as I heard that, I hopped out. I grabbed my weapon, hopped out, and I go and assess him. And, I see blood everywhere. And then I hear Alderman, he needs help. So I run to his side. And I'm like, it's just as bad.
Yeah.
So I have to do something. So I look behind me, and here comes Sergeant Doria running up to me. And I'm like, perfect. At the time though, I was already pulling out Alderman, getting him out of the vehicle, and we realized that he lost a leg.
Yep.
And he's there. I watch movies, and you hear screaming, and man, he was strong.
Oh yeah.
Through this, he was strong.
Dude, when I got to the vehicle, of course I was in the lead vehicle, and when I got back there, he was leaning up against, so the doors are gone.
Yeah, we propped him up against the side of the Humvee.
He's just leaning against the Humvee. There's no engine. There's no front tires.
The whole front of the Humvee was...
He's just leaning against the door jamb of the TC side of the vehicle, and I looked down at him. He's like, "I'm good, Sergeant. Don't worry about me. Go worry about Petey." He just like that.
Yeah, I remember you look at me. I give you a thumbs up, and you're on the on the radio, doing your thing, calling for help, calling
the cell phone. That was the bad thing about that whole situation, was that area we had no comms. The only comms that we had was Sanchez with the aircraft. But that whole area, and we never went back in that area at night again, because there was a stretch of about 300 meters where you had no comms, and we were right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So the medevac was done on the cell phone that they gave me maybe like a week before that. I never even used it. Called up, and after that, I never carried that. I carried that cell phone in my right leg pocket down on my calf. So if I got hit, everyone would know my phone is on the right side, not the left, because the transmission came back,
Oh yeah.
So yeah, man, that was all done by cell phone, man, by, while everybody's trying to get Petey out of the vehicle and everything else. It was crazy, dude.
Yeah. So as soon as, I hop out of the vehicle, I see that help's coming. I see Doria. He's yelling at me, what's going on? At that time, I took my helmet off. It was all crooked from the explosion. I had my weapon with me, and I said, go around, help Petey. No one was there yet. I forgot who came up to me to help, to get Alderman. Funny story about me and Alderman's interaction. We had a great relationship. I called him the Juggernaut. Because once he started running, don't get in his way. He's not stopping. We would play basketball, and he wouldn't stop. You wouldn't be an obstacle for him. He would run through you.
Right.
Big guy.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
still is.
Yeah, huge. So when I got to the unit, I was a good runner. I was running fast. I thought I was fast. And I saw the A runner. I was like, how do you guys maintain that? So I fall back. Okay, I'm not as fast as everybody. And Alderman knew I was really upset that I couldn't keep up with some of the standards as far as I know. Spartan platoon was a running platoon. Sergeant Noel liked to run, and I felt like I was really letting them down. I couldn't keep up. Alderman one day pulled me aside and said, I don't mind if you're not the fastest runner. He's like, I'm not the fastest. I want you to train to be able to pull a body off the battlefield if you need to.
Yep.
And so I got with some of the buddies that were in the gym. I started being focusing on some strength training. Little did I know I was going to have to pull a body.
Yep.
And I thought about that, and I practically pulled him out by myself. There was someone else with me though, helping. But so there we are, and the incident happened. He's on the ground, and he's man, that dude was strong mentally. I'm looking. Okay. I gotta assess. What am I doing? This is all happening quick.
Yeah.
And he says, and he like points, and I'm like, That's right. First aid, you know?
Yeah.
There you go. Open his first aid kit, pull out the tourniquet, put the tourniquet around his leg, tighten it down. I remember reading something that they say if someone says it's too tight, turn it a couple more times. Turn it again. All right, he says it's too tight. I'm like, and one more time. I turned it, fastened the tourniquet. By that time, Petey was out. They had him on a stretcher. We put Alderman on a stretcher. We had to collect the body parts. And then, we get in PZ posture. We're out there and like nothing. And then all of a sudden I feel this pain. I think the adrenaline was
wearing off.
Was wearing off as we were waiting. We were taking a knee. I remember going to Petey because me and Petey were really close in Hawaii. Me, him, his wife would hang out. My wife at the time, and so I went to him and I was holding his hand, and he kept telling me, "Tell my wife I love her."
Yeah,
and I was like, "You're gonna tell her, dude."
Well, there was at least 2 times where he wasn't responding.
Yeah, we had to keep waking him up.
And as soon as we got him out, we had to pry the dash off him. He was getting like electrocuted. So somebody had like a rifle in there and lifted up the dash, and we ended up getting him out of there. And I was on the phone, and I was like, "You got to get somebody out here," because Petey's he's just a little guy compared to Alderman. He's like, okay, we got it. Petey loses a limb, and that's a lot of blood.
Yeah.
And, the little bird that was up there, the aircraft that came in our area, he was going to come down, pick him up, and take him. And non-standard, medevac.
Yeah. But
the medevac had already launched. But I don't know how many times I called, and I was like, you got to get here, man. I'm going to lose a dude. This is not going to happen. And, we got lucky, man. It's both those guys are kicking, rocking, and doing amazing things out there. Wrestling coach, Petey's as free as they come, man. You know, that whole incident just freed him. Of course he loved to fish before. I don't know how much dancing he does now, but he used to be a dancing machine. He was high energy.
A mover and a shaker. Yeah, he was definitely energy. He brought a lot of life to our platoon.
We needed that in the platoon, and I was sorry to see it go. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So it was a big hit for our platoon. It was one of the first big incidents that happened. After that, it was I think the mood of the platoon changed.
Got serious.
Yeah. A lot of the guys that haven't deployed before, they were now in the real world.
They're woke.
They got woke real quick. But so there we are, waiting for the bird to come down, and Doria looks at me, and he sees me turning pale, and he says, "Hey, you all right?" I said, "I don't know, because I'm coming out of it."
Yeah.
And then I had trouble breathing. It turns out that I hurt one of my ribs, and I don't know what was going on. So he said, "Yeah, you get on too."
Yep. So
I got hopped on the bird, and I was with Petey the whole time, talking to him, before I knew it, we were in the what was it? Like a surgery room. It was a trauma center.
Mm-hmm.
They were basically on the other side of the curtain. I don't know. There may have been a barrier. I don't know. But I remember they had surgeons on the other side working on him. Mm-hmm. Then I see you, Frank, and there's some other people, or I forget who came to see me.
It had been Frank. I wasn't back yet.
Okay, yeah. So, him coming in, then the Sergeant Major,
Angelucci,
mm-hmm. And the commander, I forget who it was. But yeah, he comes, talks to me, and that was that. That was my first incident with, that was my first real
Combat incident.
Yeah, combat incident. It really opened my eyes to what may be coming later.
Right.
And that was really early in the deployment. Then, another big incident where we lost Sergeant Doria. That one, it hit hard. He was a leader for and with his soldiers. Mm-hmm. He led. He didn't lead us from afar.
He was in your pocket.
He wanted us to be comfortable with him. Yep. He'd invite us over. We knew his family. Of course, I used to hang out with Tashima, and Tashima was really good friends with him.
Mm-hmm.
So
they looked the same.
Yeah, one was a little bit darker.
Yeah.
Yeah. One time, Tashima, he had a barbecue, with Rich and Sergeant Doria, me, Petey, a few other guys. He said, "Come over, make you feel at home." Like, yeah, I was a little scared first because he's my leader. I'm like, I don't know what to expect. I get there and there's Doria, his big old smile, always laughing, smiling. Tashima says, "Hey, I want you to feel comfortable, like you're back in LA. I made you some Mexican food." It was white rice with tomato sauce dumped on it. And he said, "I made you Mexican rice." And I was like,
"That's funny."
Yeah. And so I ate it, and it was bad. It was, and if he's listening to this, I ate it, man. I ate it for you. Then we went to the ice cream store. It's another funny. He was gonna buy us ice cream. He's like, "Yeah, Then he says, "I forgot my wallet." Me as a private, I'm like, "All right, I guess I got it.
I got you, Sergeant."
So I paid for everybody's ice cream. I'm like, dude, I'm private. But it was good. I really got to hang out and meet Sergeant Doria, meet him that time. So when he was killed, it weighed heavy on me and a lot of people. He was our friend, our mentor, our leader. And a lot of things changed. And still to this day, it's still hard, but yeah, that deployment was very eye-opening. So,
Gutz, I know that, that deployment, that stole a lot of years off of members of the platoon. You know what I mean? Stole, innocent years. I'm not innocent, like, shielded, safeguarded or anything like that. But you're supposed to see, you're supposed to be potentially a part of things like that, but they come in like a little slower,
gradual,
manageable pieces instead of just, 2 thumps to the chest, back to back. It definitely makes it, makes it hard. You know what I'm saying? And being a leader, man, it's even harder to tell your guys, strap it back on, we're going back. You know what I'm saying?
That was the hardest thing to hear.
That was hard after Petey and Daniel. That was to get everybody back in the trucks.
Yeah.
We still have to go out on patrol. That hurt, man. That was, like we were talking about. It's one of those things that, my mom didn't raise me that way.
Yeah.
I was more of a considerate person, but you can't do that.
Yeah.
You don't bring people back alive with that mentality. Yep. And I think we talked about that. That's kind of the difference between, me now and then. Now it's the same, but I'm doing everything I can, like you guys are now, keeping veterans safe.
Yeah, right? Exactly. So, yeah. So after the Alderman incident, it was our first real bonding experience. We got to cry together a little bit. We got to talk about, we didn't really talk about our feelings, but we talked about, the good things we missed about them.
Yeah.
I remember after that incident, after the IED, it was a big one. It hit us hard. It rocked us. It literally rocked my body so hard I couldn't go back on deployment for, I think I'm on deployment on patrol for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to you. And at that time, you introduced me to Gates of Fire. And at that time, you were pumped up about 300.
Yeah.
I'm not a big movie guy, but you said it was cool, and I was like, dude, let me see what this is about. Picked up the book. So as I'm sitting in my room, I would have visitors. I was kind of scared to come out of my room for a while. I was injured. I didn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
I would have people like Brent come in, and I would have to tell him to not make me laugh because it hurt to laugh. It hurt. Everything hurt. My body hurt. But like I said, we had a good group of guys. Yeah. Even though we definitely argued, and like brothers. Mm-hmm. But when someone was down, there was always someone there for them.
I had the conversation with the old Spark platoon sergeant before me, and we were saying that when you bond like that, you are a high functioning dysfunctional family. And when you look at the platoon, absolutely. I mean, the soldiers in the platoon, they made that platoon what it was. Guidance out there, but they executed. And the big thing was they fought like family.
Oh yeah, every day.
On both sides. It's like in the house, I'll slap my brother around all day. We get outside. If you slap my brother, I'm going to slap you all day. And that's exactly how the platoon was. And that was that felt good for me because I could stick to the business of operations. So
it was good. After those incidents, I began to feel a little more comfortable around you. Mm-hmm. I know you knew that, I was a part of that truck that got hit. That was hard. And the way you talked to me a few times was different. It wasn't as much of a command voice. It was like, hey, what do you need? Mm-hmm. How are you doing up here in your head?
Yeah.
Figuring if I'm going to be okay am I going to be able to send you back? You didn't ask that. Mm-hmm. Are you going to be able to go out? But I knew you're feeling around for that. And, it was a little nicer to feel that, hey, he has my back. So, after a while I was ready to go out, and we rocked and rolled again. Yeah. I think our platoon got really strong after that. We still hit a lot of IEDs. Then we went with Smitty and Timmons. Mm-hmm. There I am again, hitting the floor again. And I'm like, what happened?
And that's where, how did Smitty get out of that?
We pulled him out of the gunner hatch.
Out of the gunner's hatch. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was injured. Timmons was yelling about something. Timmons has this accent. Hey, y'all don't go have this. I'm like, Timmons, what are you saying? And he's yelling about something. Get Smitty. And Smitty's like trying to struggle and get out. And Timmons tried to dig him out. The whole front end was messed up. The tires, I think, were blown off. I don't remember exactly, but and Smitty's being pulled out of the gunner's hatch, and I think they got injured a little bit. Went out to Germany for a while, but we kept finding those IEDs, and every incident made us stronger.
Yeah. Especially
when we moved out down to Doria. We built Doria.
Right. Out of the desert floor.
Man, that was the worst.
Remember there was no wall? It was empty HESCO baskets, and it was like, I hope someone doesn't go up and look inside because bullets travel right through it.
Yeah, that was probably the worst part about the deployment. I felt that we were kind of alone. It was our company, mm-hmm. But I felt like we were alone, just doing it ourselves, which we did. Yeah. We built it ourselves.
Well, that was like, at the time, man, it's like, wow. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on in Kirkuk itself. A lot of resources were being pushed that way, and for them to come fill some HESCOs wasn't a priority.
Yeah.
And plus, I mean, we had the police right next to us, and we had all the gun trucks. We just perimetered up until we got it.
Yeah, it was an interesting time, but that deployment was very. It forced me to grow up. I think it, like you said, it didn't come gradually. All of a sudden, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm a different person. So mid-tour leave, I had some scarring on my hands. I don't know what it was. I think it was from oil from my from an IED or something. I don't remember. But my hands were kind of they weren't peppered, but they had like little marks, like
little
oil.
tattoo marks.
Yeah. And I remember my mom staring at my hands, and she didn't know any of the stuff that was going on. I didn't tell her. I told my dad. I said, "Hey, I'm okay. Still, I'm alive. You know, it's what matters."
Yeah.
I said, "Don't tell Mom. I don't need her to worry." She said, "What's that?" And I froze. I'm like, and it took me back.
Yeah.
And I realized, you know, I'm only on mid-tour leave. I have to go back. So I just, you know, I froze and I thought about it, and I still feel that way now. After the deployment, getting back, you know, you still think about the deployment.
Yeah.
You still think about the guys, the good times and the bad, of course. But that deployment was tough. I ended up going on another one. It wasn't so bad, but that first one was when we really bonded. I think we grew up. When I got back to the island, I had choices to make. Mm-hmm. How I was going to deal with it. Thankfully, I had my buddies. I had a wife at the time who wasn't the most faithful, I should say, when I was deployed.
It happens.
Yeah. So when we came back from deployment, I thought, wow, you know, I saved all this money. I'm going to, I don't know, go somewhere. Let's just go somewhere. And I come back with nothing. So on top of the mental stress that we were put through,
your wife spent all your money
over deployment. Yeah.
Oh no.
She spent. A lot of people don't know this. Some of the guys, they know it. Spent all my money, and then had a boyfriend. I had a boyfriend who she was living with, along with all my furniture.
Yeah.
So I came back to an empty apartment. So on top of this, the mental stress from the deployment, I come back to nothing.
Yeah.
I had a few friends that they weren't asked. They didn't say anything. They just showed up at my door with their bags. And I said, "What are you guys doing?" One of them was Lofgren.
Oh, Shane.
Shane, he lived on my couch. Mm-hmm. He said, "I'm moving in." All right, yeah. You know, and then Bashard comes in. He's living in my apartment now. We had another guy from, I think he was from another unit. He was one of our buddies. His name is John Aiken. He moved in. So I had some guys just, we're gonna be here with you.
Yeah. Because
I was sitting in my apartment alone. Little did I know that was dangerous.
Yeah. I
sat there alone after deployment. I didn't want to go to the barracks. I wanted to be home. So they moved in. They helped me out. And if it wasn't for them, I might have went surfing one time, and I might have not come back in. You know.
Yeah.
Just that was it. But
well, I got to tell you, man, Shane. You know the guys you're talking about, huge hearts, man. You know, Shane was my driver, and put him through hell. You know, and hell, he found 13 IEDs during that time, and you know he's as solid as they come.
Yeah, Shane, you know he was a good guy. He still is.
Yeah,
I keep in contact with him online. Him and his wife and his kids.
I think he's still scared of me. Actually, he's probably mad at me. But I'll give him a big hug one of these days. I'll go up and see him.
Yeah, you know, funny thing about Shane, I had a couple guitars shipped out to me. That's what I did, man. Mm-hmm. I rock and roll. Once I joined the band, the Brothers, it was a different tune, but I still wanted to rock and roll. It's in my soul. I wanted to play. So, you know, I'd play my guitar for the guys, sing here and there. Mine and Shane's room, it's just plywood that divided us. Sometimes it wasn't plywood, sometimes it was a whoopee that divided us, you know, your own personal space. There I go playing. All of a sudden, the chorus, Shane comes in hard, strong in the chorus. Just screams out, you know, and there are a lot of things that stick out in my mind. All my guys, all my friends, all my brothers.
Yeah.
But so, you know, after the deployment, it was rough. And then we go on another deployment a year later. It wasn't so bad, but
did you stay there in 25th?
Yeah.
Stay there?
Yep.
Okay.
I was in the same unit. I changed. I was in a different company. But it was good. It was different. The guys weren't all together. Not all of them were. Mm-hmm. But after that, I had orders to go to Fort Hood, Texas, and Fort Hood was different. Once I got there, I think my whole mindset changed about what I wanted to do with my life. I love the military. I love the guys. I love the people in it. Mentors I met. But, for the same reason I joined is for the same reason I got out. I felt like I could do more.
Right.
I had a lot of knowledge, a lot of motivation. And I didn't think the military was holding me back, but I wanted to focus on something else.
Right.
So when it came time for re-enlistment, I didn't. So it put me around 8 years when I got out.
Yeah.
And I was lucky. I was lucky to have some mentors that guided me through the process. They've already done it. They're now veterans. They're outside of the military. They got out. They said, do this, do that, because once you get out, it's going to be hard to get those things done.
Yeah.
Start your benefits packet. Do you have injuries? I said, yeah, I have injuries.
Yeah.
I don't run very much. Well, my knee, my back, my this. Start it now. Start before you get out, because if you don't, you're going to have a hard time acquiring benefits. And it's not even about the benefits. It's about the treatment, long-term treatment.
Right. For the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Dealing with PTSD, if you do it on your own, it's expensive. Mm-hmm. And they don't want to talk to you. You don't want to talk to them. And the VA, the VA it's packed with people just like me that are trying to get things done. So, a lot of things take a long time. But I was fortunate.
Yeah.
I had some good mentors. So, so after the military, I stayed in Texas for a little while and didn't know what to do with myself. Killing's not the best place to get out.
Yeah, not conducive for civilian life.
Yeah, no. Yeah. It's there's a lot of opportunity for bad decisions. And that's what I made. I made bad decisions. Thankfully, I had a family back in California that was very supportive. Mm-hmm. Came home. The problem still was I didn't have any other veterans to be around. So when I came back to California, California's a mix. You have some parts that they support, the veterans, and they understand. Hey, you may have PTSD. I'm not gonna try to get you to remember this stuff. Some parts of California, they're not as receptive. They don't always like veterans. So it was a little hard. So, kept to myself, didn't know what to do with myself. Spent a lot of time, for some reason, I didn't want to be home. I didn't want to bother anybody with problems.
Yeah.
I spent some time in my car, a lot of time in my car, park at the beach. Oh, the beach is nice, California. Clear my mind, have my guitar out there. I wanted to get back into rock and roll. And what better way, smoke some dope, hey, it set my mind right. The good thing about California, we've always been open to smoking weed.
Yeah.
And that helped a lot. Also, another thing, I met some guys that wanted to work out.
Right.
So working out, smoking some weed, it leveled me out.
That's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Recovery program.
Well, you know what? My dad, huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. So when we were little, we watched that movie, about his liftings, Generation Iron. Mm-hmm. Or is it Pumping Iron?
Pumping Iron is the first one, yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of good things he talks about in there.
Yeah.
Arnold says some good things that are very motivational, get you going.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself. Before I joined the military, I was going to school to be a zoologist. Now, I don't know if you guys know what zoology is, but it's a study of animals.
Yeah.
My idol was Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter. And that's what I wanted to do. Love animals, still love animals today. But that wasn't where my heart was. So I tried the rock and roll thing again. It's tough, being a struggling musician. How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to do this? And then, of course, dealing with the weight from the military and not having the support system that I needed from the military. And pride, I think.
Right.
Not asking for help. But, I realized that I was good under pressure. So certain situations happened in the military, like for instance the PD Alderman situation, where you have to react. And I thought, maybe nursing's a good choice for me. Maybe I can deal with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And now I'm in nursing school.
You're quick on your feet, man. They're glad, they're lucky to have you.
Yeah, they like placing me in the ER.
Yep.
It's my environment. So that I have a goal. I would love to work with veterans. There's a lot of veterans that need help, that want that would rather speak to a veteran that knows what it's like to be injured,
yep.
Knows what it's like to be around others who were injured or killed. When I got out, my therapists and nurses and doctors, they didn't know. They would tell me, well, you got to do this. I said, have you been there?
Yeah.
No, they haven't been there. They don't know. So my goal is to, be that medical professional that can help veterans. So once I finish nursing school, I'd like to work with veterans.
That, Gutz, I love how you say that, because that's what we do here is you really can't expect a veteran to open up to somebody if they don't have the rapport. And that's like, as soon as you come in and you tell a veteran, hey, I was in Afghanistan, I was in Iraq, I deployed, I've been through what you've been through. Let me help you. They're going to be way more, receptive to that. And then, especially the way you are around them, it's going to be good, man.
Yeah, there's a different vibe you get when you speak to a veteran.
Yeah. Because
they understand you. We're on the same wavelength.
Right.
When I walk outside and I'm walking through, the hordes of civilian people in Los Angeles, it's hard to, what's the word? It's hard to fit in.
Right.
You stand out. And I think they know you stand out. There's something wrong with that guy. Mm-hmm. There's not something wrong with me.
I don't think that it's there's something wrong with you. It's that you're absolutely, truly, without a doubt, different. And the thing is that, typically what happens is you've got civilians that look down on veterans. But it should be the other way around, but it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just continue to flow, right through the horde. But the thing is, it's not that there's something wrong. It's the difference is that noticeable.
Yeah.
You stand up straighter. You scan around. I'm constantly looking left and right.
Constantly.
I'm not doing it on a time schedule. Look here, look there. No. I just do a quick scan. If I need to get out of here, that's where I'm going. It's easy stuff, but they don't do that. They're thinking to themselves, where they're going next and all that kind of, and then not really being mindful of their surroundings.
Yeah, I know I have a certain seat I like to sit in class. Mm-hmm. So I'm in nursing school. There's a lot of well-educated people, and we have rows of seats, and some people like to sit way back in the corner. And for me, that's not safe.
No.
So I walk in, I look, okay, no, I need that seat. Hey, can I have that seat? If I don't get that seat, I need to be somewhere where, well, if there is something that happens, there's a shooter. If there's an earthquake, if there's a natural disaster, if someone gets hurt, people say, why do you carry a tourniquet on your bag?
Yeah.
said, have you ever used a tourniquet? Those things save lives.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So I carry a tourniquet. Well, that's what happens. It's what you think when you're a veteran, you know. But, you know, so now that I'm out of the military, going to nursing school, I can, my mind is a little more at ease now that I have something to focus on. Mm-hmm. I think, though, what would have made it took me years to get to where I'm at. Outside of the military, I've been out for, I got out in 2012, and now it's 2019.
7 years.
Yeah. And I started nursing school a year ago.
You know, Gutz, I'm convinced, and as I start talking to more and more veterans, about 5 years is kind of the mark to where veterans kind of get it. And I don't know what it is. I don't know. You know, our goal is to shorten that learning curve and get them on their feet doing what veterans do best, leading from the front, being dynamic individuals in their community, helping their community, building the community up, giving it strength. It takes about 5 years for them to come back to the veteran community and be a part of it.
I think that was the biggest problem.
Yeah.
I didn't have that kind of support from veterans.
Yeah.
Even in the colleges, schools, you have veteran centers, mm-hmm. but it's different. It's not as cohesive,
right?
You know, as being in the unit,
yeah,
as having that group of guys, that band of brothers. And we're still brothers, still look out for you. But I think you know, having a nice, strong family unit is beneficial. Me and some of the guys from the platoon were in this group chat, which has really, it's been therapeutic.
Yeah.
Not because we counsel each other, but because we're there. When we're in our text message group, you know, I read what they're saying. You know, I laugh to myself. I know they can't hear me, but we're together.
Yeah.
It's if you need help. I remember one time I reached out to you because we had a guy go dark. Could not get a hold of him. He said something online, and I knew this was serious. I couldn't go to bed. I was thinking about calling out of work and telling him, hey, I'll be back next week. I got to go see this guy. You know, turns out he was close to the end, and I couldn't think of anyone else to call. There I go, get on Facebook and call you. And I think, you know, it says something about how I feel about you.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
I feel the same. We've been through, you know, right along with Brent, everyone from the platoon. I mean, we've been through what normal people would be like. That was hell. You can't do it alone. You have to do it with people. Yeah. You have to. There's no way. Imagine being in that vehicle out there alone all by yourself and that happened.
Oh, yeah.
You don't survive that stuff.
No.
And you don't survive the aftermath of it in your head without people, with your body, somebody bringing you food, you know, from the chow hall, you know, because you can't get out. But you have to have people around you.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the biggest thing, man, is like, you know, we get out and we think like, well, all my people are still in. So I'm just going to come out here and just, you know, kind of be hard, be tough, try to be that out here when it doesn't fit.
It doesn't work.
It's not that you don't want it to work. It's just the wrong place. So you have to repurpose that.
Yep.
Say, hey, I'm going to take this energy and this dedication, and I'm going to put it towards this. And it's just like the op order, man. You know, you can make the op order going to a Waikiki. Hey guys, it's the op order first, going out to Waikiki. We got this person, this person, this person. Roger, you can go through the whole op order and everyone's going to have a great time and they're going to know what everyone's doing when you're down there partying in Waikiki. You can use it for anything. So, repurposing that stuff is getting veterans back.
Yep.
Taking what they've learned and applying it to something else in veteran land and making it work.
Yeah, I think it took me a few years to, like you said, refocus. Mm-hmm. I can't come out. I'm not. Yeah, I walk around proud. I mean, I am proud. I'm proud to be a veteran, proud to have done and meet the people, see the places, things. I'm proud to carry the burden. But you can't walk around the same way you do in the military, and it's a game changer. It took me years to figure that out.
Yeah.
Why doesn't anybody want to be my friend? Why can't I have a friend? Well, we don't see eye to eye. You put off this vibe.
Yeah.
Like what? I don't know. I don't know. Once I repurposed myself and my schooling and getting back into the gym, it really helped me get by. Now I found a great girlfriend.
Yeah.
Who
and a new dog.
Yeah. Now it was hard being in a relationship, and they don't. I don't want pity. I just want you to understand there's something there, mm-hmm. and that things may get tough, and they couldn't handle that.
Yeah,
they couldn't handle. Well, sometimes I'm going to be a little down in the dumps. It's not that I hate you. Sometimes I don't want to go. I don't want to see the people. Yeah. They don't like me. I don't want to be at a bar. There's going to be an asshole that I'm going to want to, make him not be an asshole.
Yeah.
That's what happened. I couldn't be taken in public because being in the military, I remember a few times being out at a bar and someone's being an asshole. I have my brothers there. If someone's being an asshole to a girl, guess what? Mm-hmm. We're there. That's not going to happen.
Right.
But out in the civilian world, you can't just go and punch people. And I had to figure that out a few times. But yeah, I have this girl who's helped me become level, I guess. At home.
What's her name?
Caitlin.
Yeah, got to give her a call out, man.
Yeah, she's been wonderful. It's been great. I think everything's starting to come together finally. So once I got my head right, once I got back into the gym, once I set my goals, everything started falling into place, and I needed help. I just needed help. I needed to reach out. I needed to talk to veterans. I needed to talk to Brent and John, Ryan Flesh, Ernest, who else? Robert. Who else is in our group? There's Wheeler.
Yeah, Wheeler came to see me.
Yeah, there's a lot of... I spent some time with our old Doc Bauman.
Yeah. Matty.
He was the first guy that I willingly showed my balls to. We're out in country, and you don't. Where do you go? You're out in country. Hey man, listen, something's going on down there. What? I don't know what to do. But I realize that
Doc Bauman's he's a comedian too when he does that.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he is.
And he told me, man, yeah, you're out in the field for weeks at a time. You should probably keep clean. I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. I never thought of that. So he's like, yeah, that would help. Everything was fine, but yeah, we still have that support. I still a lot of the hard times, remembering some of the things, it helps knowing that I do have a support system.
Yeah.
Even though my family's great. I think my family's been a big part of why I've been okay. The problem is they don't know. They don't know what we've been through. So having the guys with me, near me, close, easy to get a hold of,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's helped out. And, it's been great to listen to other people's stories here. And realize that, a lot of people have gone through the same thing.
Yeah.
And, I know it sounds cliche, but we really are a phone call away.
Absolutely.
And, you feel down in the dumps. I have Brent not far from me. Text him. of all the guys, I mean, it seems that everybody's close together because we're texting each other.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'd be able to regroup.
Well, like I told you guys, I want to get as many members of your platoon on the show. And if you guys end up putting together 2 or 3 people to come on the show at one time, then you can talk about some of those situations and get the memories connecting so everybody sees the picture as true as it was. Because, if you look at, like when I was talking to Daniel, he said he doesn't remember anything.
From the incident?
Yeah. So being able to do that for him and for Petey, to finish the picture so that, any gaps in that, they know it.
Yeah.
And there's no guessing games. Because I think that's the worst part about any kind of, incident that happens. Good outcome, bad outcome is that feeling as if you should have done something else, or I was there, but I didn't do anything. But in all actuality, you weren't there and you couldn't affect it because you're out of position. So veterans, they put a lot on themselves because that's who we are. Still a lot of veterans out here walking around with 110 pounds in their rucksack.
Yep.
You don't have to carry that weight now. If you dumped your ruck out on the corner and a veteran ranger walked by, he was like, good job. He would tell you to dump your ruck. You don't need to carry the weight out here. And having your buddies around, they help you carry that when you can't get rid of it.
That's a good thing. They help lessen the load you feel. And unfortunately, it's going to be there forever.
It will be, but the big thing is you have to regard it. You have to be like, this happened. You've got to break it down, which means you've got to break yourself away from the personal attachment you have to it. It's hard to do, but that's where the understanding lives. It lies in getting away from it. Imagine if there's something you lost your wallet in the grass. You're never going to find your wallet down on your belly looking for it.
Yeah.
You got to give above it. Once you do that and you kind of understand it, you can disregard it. And then it literally catches you on the corner of your eye like a dust bunny blowing across the room. But it's just a dust bunny. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect you. If we can get veterans to take some of their situations that they carry with them, for them to get that kind of understanding, that's where it's always with them, but it's just with them. It's not who they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's perfect sense.
That's the goal.
And I think that's what helped me. Now that I refocus energy, I can look back, and I understand that it's there. But I can work through it now.
Right.
I have my support system now. It took a few years to link up with the guys again. I think it just felt weird not being around them, and everybody's doing their own thing and trying to make it.
Yeah.
But you don't have to. We know now we don't have to do it alone mentally.
Yeah.
I know if anybody asks for money, if they need $5, we're here for you.
$5. That's all you got for people? $5? That's not good.
So, yeah, man.
So, Gutz, what are you thinking about for the future, man? What are you thinking about? We talked about this a little bit.
So, like I said, I'm in nursing school. I think I'd have a lot to offer veterans. Mm-hmm. So when I was getting out, I had someone mentor me and tell me what I need to go to the doctors with, what I need to talk about. I think once I finished nursing school, I'd really like to be an advocate for veterans ETSing out of the military, or even those that are out, that are struggling. Going to the doctor is not an easy thing. It can be scary. No one wants to know there's something wrong. There's something that I have to work through. Yeah. And that's what I'd like to do. Even with Heart of Volunteer, I think it's a great program.
We're going to have you on again, man. You're not done. You're going to be on the hook for at least probably 30, 40 episodes. Maybe 10, 15 minutes at a pop, or maybe even like maybe a theme song or an outro, something with a rock and roll riff.
I might play guitar for you guys. Yeah, but I think Heart of Volunteer has so much potential to bring a lot of veterans together. A lot of contacts. People don't know what they're missing until they hear it.
Yeah.
So listen, man, what are you doing with your life? Okay, well, I'm doing this. All right, hey, I know somebody that can help you with this, help you with your medical problems, help you with the paperwork, talk to certain people about getting an award you missed or whatever it is. I definitely love to be a part of that, the bigger picture.
I think you'd be good at it, brother. I think you really would.
Yeah, this, someone mentored me, and I like to give it back.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that need it. But yeah, it's a bright future. I'm excited about graduating.
Yeah.
I still have a long road.
When are you going to graduate, man?
August 2020.
August 2020. I'll be out here August 2020. I'll be here August 2020. I'll be here.
I look forward to
Guaranteed.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well,
Gutz, let me tell you, man, I'm happy where you're at. You've got an amazing life ahead of you, man, and goals. I'm excited for it, and excited that back in each other's lives, talking again. It's not that I didn't want to. It's just that life happens.
Yeah.
But now we're back and we're hitting it hard and strong, and I think we're going to get together and do some stuff. The three of us, we're going to make some things happen. And I challenge you to find something out here in the LA area that you can make to bring veterans in. You do that, and I'll help you.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I'll help you. The show will help you. I'll come out here. I'll do whatever I have to do. The show will be here for you. All right?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, brother. That's what I'm talking about. Good handshake. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're done. You've just listened to Alan Gutierrez here on Heart of a Volunteer Veterans Podcast. And once again, everybody, talk to people. Tell people how you're feeling. It doesn't have to, find somebody you trust and just talk to them. Even if it's just words, not feelings, not emotions, not issues, just somebody to talk to. Make sure you have somebody in your life you can do that with. And if you don't, call me. I'll talk to you. I'll be in your life. I got nothing else to do. This is what I do. All right. So give us a shout, share, like, subscribe, get the tattoo. Be safe out there and be amazing. Alan, what do you got for these listeners for a weekend ahead?
You know what? This weekend's going to be great. There's going to be a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
To get into some trouble.
Oh.
What I'm going to say is phone a friend.
Yeah.
Call somebody. Like you said, talk to somebody. Get in trouble. Don't get in too much trouble. But know that you have your veterans with you. You have someone to talk to.
Yep.
Call us. Facebook, message. Hey, let's talk. Talk to one of your buddies. You feeling down? Your buddies get there to pick you up. And they won't deny you. They definitely won't.
Yep.
Have a great weekend.
Hey, for all the veterans out there, this is what I got for you. Reach out to your buddies. If you got some folks that you served with, find them on Facebook, look them up, send them a message, check on them. They may like it, they may not. But they'll know you're looking out for them. You're thinking about them. So do that stuff. Find some old friends this weekend. Go barbecue. Go have yourself a couple of beers, drink some water, especially if you're in Moreno Valley. It's hotter than hell. But have fun, folks. Have fun and be safe. We're out of here.
See ya.
Noel Fisher, copyright 2019.